Some might say that Peter Griffin is the epitome of WSM culture. That's white, straight, male for the newbies out there. And when you take one look at the fat man of Quahog, you'd probably think he's too hetero to even wash between his cheeks when he showers. But as shocking as this might sound, Peter's actually one of the gayest cats in town. Don't believe me? Here are 7 of the gayest Peter Griffin moments in all of Family Guy. First up, there's the time Peter became a pirate, which had some, unintended consequences. Okay, get your head out of the gutter. I'm not talking about boinking someone on his crew. In fact, Peter's version of being a pirate had nothing to do with sailing at all. Nope, for him, it was mostly about having a parrot on his shoulder. Where did he find a parrot, you ask? Why, at the vet's, of course. And Peter being Peter, it was only a matter of time before he made being a parrot owner his whole personality. Naturally, the next step for Peter is to show his sweet new parrot off to all of his buddies. And I mean, who wouldn't want to brag about having such a cute little guy on their shoulder? Of course, the fact that parrots, well, parrot everything you say can be a bit of a double-edged sword. Sometimes they might say some funny stuff.
Pick a lane, bitch!
Isn't that funny? He heard me say that on the way over in the car.
And other times, well, see for yourself.
I had a gay experience at camp!
Yup, you heard that right. Peter might have tried to cover it up with some lame excuse. But there's 2 ways about it. He probably thought he was telling his parrot that in confidence and didn't realize it had spilled the beans in front of his whole gang. Now, you might think that this was just a one-off incident, but we're just getting started. Case in point, the time Peter downloads an app about sandwiches, but took it to a very sexual extreme. This episode, like so many others, starts out with Peter and the gang having an argument at the Drunken Clam. Now, Peter learns something during this conversation that shakes him to his very core. When he and Quagmire are arguing about who wrote the song they're listening to, Cleveland pulls out his phone to settle the matter once and for all. Peter is pretty shocked by this, because despite living in the 21st century, he apparently has no idea that phones can even do this. In fact, Peter is so amazed by this exciting new technology, or well, new to him anyway, that he has to ask Cleveland where he got his hands on it, prompting his buddy to say,
You just download it, it's an app.
What's an app?
They're little programs you use on your phone while driving.
Pretty soon, Peter's using apps everywhere, like in bed, at the dining table, and finally...
Where are you going?
Oh, I'm meeting up with someone from my Grinder app.
Okay, calm down. It's not what you think. This app's called Grindr with an E, and according to Peter, it has nothing to do with the app gay dudes use to hook up and stuff. But get this. When Peter heads to the meetup location, which happens to be in a public bathroom, he, receives his sandwich in the strangest way possible.
Alright, let's do this.
And by strange, I mean getting on all fours and chomping on that bad boy through a glory hole. Is it gay to eat a sandwich? Nope. But is it gay to crouch doggy style while someone feeds it to you like a schlong? Maybe. But this is far from the last gay moment that Peter's had on the show. Like, does anyone remember the time Peter mistook a random guy for Lois? I'm dead serious about this one, guys. And no, this wasn't even a super effeminate guy either. Like, I'm talking full-on man. And the weirdest thing is, this happened on date night. Peter and Lois had decided to go to a fancy restaurant, where Peter asks Lois if she wants to get frisky in the bathroom. And you know what? Good for them. But shortly after Peter heads to the bathroom, probably expecting Lois to follow him in, he runs into a random dude. Now, to be fair, he's wearing the same color shirt as Lois, and he's got that red hair as well. But surely Peter can tell the difference between a man and his own wife, right?
Oh, wow. Oh my god. Oh, this is amazing.
Guess not. Okay? Maybe this is just a case of mistaken identity, and the dude Peter banged has a wife that looks a lot like he does. I'm kinda curious about who topped and who bottomed in this round, because they both came out looking pretty smug. Like, can someone explain the mechanics of what just happened? Honestly, it seems like Peter just needs any excuse to do the nasty with the dude. He'll even use his son's hobbies to slip in a little gay time. This story kicks off with Chris showing a little more aggression than usual. I mean, he's a teenager, so it's only natural for him to get a little antsy once in a while, right? However, Lois seems to think this is a big deal, and honestly, smashing a game up with a hammer does seem a little extreme, so maybe it's good that they're trying to deal with his anger issues before they really get out of control. Peter's bright idea to get Chris's pent-up aggression out is to chuck rotten apples at passing cars, which doesn't make much sense to me. And funnily enough, when Chris tosses his first piece of spoiled fruit at a car, it ends up impressing someone very important. Apparently, the dude in the car coaches the local baseball team, and he wants Chris to lend him his unusual strong right arm on the field. But when Chris actually gets out to pitch, Peter has a pretty tense encounter with someone.
Ah, come on! What the hell's Coach Doyle thinking bringing in that fat slob?
This makes him understandably upset. So how does he react? Why? By putting money on the table, of course. Peter bets $100 that Chris can strike the batter out, and the rude guy accepts. And as crazy as it sounds, Chris actually manages to do it. Peter is over the goddamn moon at winning $100, but of course, he's basically incapable of moderation. I smell a gambling addiction around the corner, and sure enough, Peter gets the whole gang involved, with Quagmire collecting the oodles of cash they win by hustling folks that underestimate Chris. Pretty soon, the whole crew's got more cash than they know what to do with. But wait, what does any of this have to do with Peter being into dudes? Oh yeah, little faith, what doesn't it have to do with Peter's gay streak? So, at some point, the odds start to tilt in Chris's favor, which means the only way Peter and his buddies can make money is by betting against him. Trouble is, Chris is just too good. So in order to keep the good times rolling, Peter tells his own son to take a dive in the next game. This sends Chris into a depressive spiral, and it doesn't take long for Lois to notice that her son is down in the dumps. When she chews Peter out about it, he offers what he considers a valid excuse.
Lois, if Chris wins that game, I'll be out a ton of money and I'll have to kiss a fella.
Is it just me, or are those some pretty weird conditions for a bet? Quagmire, Cleveland, and Joe decide to take matters into their own hands, which basically means beating the ever-loving crap out of Chris. This makes Peter feel some major guilt, so much so that he apologizes to Chris for ruining something he was truly great at. But just when all hope is lost, Chris makes a stunning revelation. His left arm's gotten pretty strong these past few weeks, cause he's had to use it for, bathroom shenanigans ever since he started pitching. This means that Chris can pitch at his best at the big game, which means Peter will lose the bet and have to kiss that guy. Poor him. But Chris's left arm turns out to be way less strong than he expected. The pitch is so bad that it ends up shattering Quagmire's arm. So, I guess Peter didn't have to kiss that fella after all. Unless...
But I saw you kissing the driver of that Camaro.
That was something else.
Oh, Peter, just admit it. You're a little fruity. And honestly, even that might be an understatement. Case in point, Peter at his absolute gayest in the Season 7 episode Family Gay. It all starts when Peter gets injected with some experimental genes. He's in desperate need of extra cash, and I guess this is the best he could come up with. However, Peter comes home acting a little different. It turns out that the doctor injected him with the gay gene, and boy did it work.
Peter, are you gay?
But you know what? Becoming gay actually turns Peter into a decent dude. I mean, he bakes muffins, actually mentors Chris for a change, and even Lois seems to be extra attracted to the new him. Although she seems to forget that Peter, as a gay man, probably won't want her anywhere near his wiener, which ends up being a rather rude awakening for Lois. Shortly after this, Peter does perhaps the gayest thing anyone could do. He gets a boyfriend, or as he describes it, a soulmate. It'd be cute if Peter wasn't already married with kids. Now, his relationship with Scott, even though it's technically cheating, seems to go pretty well. Peter seems really committed to being gay.
Penis for your thoughts.
Like, I mean, really committed.
Oh, for the love of penis.
Even when Brian and Stewie trick him into going to straight camp, Peter's sticking with that fabulous gay life no matter what. And of course he would. He's literally gay now. He can't just be straight no matter how much other people want him to be. Or can he? Just when Peter gets out of straight camp and heads home to Scott to celebrate, the doctor realizes something important. The gay gene apparently wears off after 2.5 weeks, which happens to be exactly how much time has passed since Peter was injected. And guess what Peter's doing right when it wears off?
Wait a minute. What's going on here? Holy crap!
Guess that was a little too much even for Peter. If you've enjoyed this video, I'm sure you'd like this one too.